Alright guys, and welcome to the first episode of my sprint mode series on F1 2012. It's me, Frank Jordy here, and today we will obviously have the first episode, as I just said, of the sprint mode series. As we can see, it's on Silverstone. I'm in the HRT. Quickly, I'll run through the setup and that before we head into the crazy the sublime race, crazy sublime, I don't know what to say. It's full of overtakes, full of action, full of spills and thrills, and all that kind of malarkey that you would expect in a sprint mode. But first off, I'm just going to start talking about just in general what I'm going to do in this series. I'm going to obviously have the sprint mode gameplay, and then I'm just going to talk about things that's happening in the world of F1 or just things in general, like game improvements, or like maybe do race with subs or something like that. Something along those lines. And what I'm going to talk about today in this episode is the F1 2012 patch for the Xbox 360 was released today, and the most noticeable thing that I have noticed myself, apart from the weather being sorted, which it's quite good that the weather's now sorted because it means that you won't get 95% of the time on Bahrain it will not decide it's going to be raining in the desert when that would never happen in real life. But the handling model, that's the thing I've noticed the most that has been affected. Some people have said it's been affected where it's making them have virtually no grip at all on some corners, and personally my experience is that it has made the game a lot more like F1 2011 in the way that the cars handle and the way the game plays. Like, I've noticed that you can brake a bit later in the corners, and definitely with a steering wheel it's been fixed because you don't like the steering rotation. You've got to turn the wheel more before you get the thing where the car would start to slide, and that was one of the biggest pains with a lot of people that I speak to from like the Apex Racing League and that race with on the RL. That was one of the biggest pains that people had, was that the steering rotation wasn't like, it didn't have enough rotation before it hit that point of no return where the car wouldn't turn and it would start to scrub the surface layer of the tyre. And that is what I've noticed with the patch like being released, that it has improved this. It's made it a bigger rotation before you get that kind of scrubbing of the top layer of the tyre. And I think all in all, the patch has definitely made it has been an improvement on top of the game. Not like previous F1s like F1 2010 when they patched it and it brought in the force into a pit bug, or 2011 when they patched it and they made the cars really unequal. And I just pray to God, because obviously I'm still waiting on some testing on ARL, but I pray to God that the cars are not, like the patch hasn't done that. It's not made it unequal, because that really did make the game a lot worse than it was in the last game. But as we can see in the gameplay here, getting some nice overtakes. This guy called Plain Lazy, I don't know what he tries here. He just tries to kind of stick up the inside, and I've got the turn in. He hits my back wheel, and as F1 does, it spins him around. But Silverstone's really one of my favourite tracks. I've actually been to Silverstone, and I sat at the Woodcote section, or Woodcote, whatever you want to call it. Sat at the Luffield Woodcote. No, sorry, I think it's Woodcote. Yes, it is. Just past there, that part of the track where we just drove through there. I actually sat in one of the grandstands on the left hand side when I went to see the World Series by Renault. As we catch a slide here, an awesome save that could have ended in disaster, but it was a great save there, and really that was one of the things I found quite hard to do in the before pre-patch, was save a slide, and I successfully done it there, coming out of the old turn one. But Silverstone in general, just we'll go back to that. I went to Silverstone in 2011, so last year, during last summer, I went to Silverstone to see the World Series by Renault. I would highly recommend go to see World Series by Renault. I got to see the Renault F1 car that was used by Vitaly Petrov and who was his teammate? Well, used by Vitaly Petrov. I can't for the life of me. Oh, Nick Heidfeld was it? Aye, it started off Heidfeld and then it started changing about. And I got to see that car lit up close, and I got to see it doing its wee demo runs and everything. And it really was a good day out. It was me, my dad, my brother, and one of my friends. Because the tickets were free for the event, so we got 4 tickets and went on down, and it was just in on the left there we were sitting, a very good vantage point. You get to see down the Wellington straight, and then you get to see the wee Mickey Mouse section, as DC would describe it on BBC F1. You get to see that wee Mickey Mouse section, and then you get to see them flying along the old pit straight, and it really was a good few days out because I was there for the Friday, Saturday, and the Sunday. And it was very enjoyable. But as we see now, I'm in second place, and I'm closing down the leader after some good overtakes in the 3 laps of racing, and we're closing them down. 1.3 was the gap as we went through our last sector, the middle sector split. We run slightly wide there, losing us a tiny bit of time, but we just kiss apex here. And I'm just going to wrap it up as I finish second. Unfortunately, I don't win it. Very closely run, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this first episode of Sprint Mode Bonanza, and of this Sprint Mode Bonanza, I should say. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.